Miami Dolphins wide receiver Jarvis Landry runs for the end zone after catching a pass from Jay Cutl at Hard Rock Stadium on Monday night. Allen iced on the Palm Beach Post from chumps to chumps to chumps to chumps to chumps to, who are these Miami Dolphins? What a joy to. What a total team effort. What a way to not just beat the New England Patriots, but thrash them. Miami beat New England 2,720 in a game that was never really close, and that 5-game losing streak we just alluded to feels like 5 exits back. Miami is back in the AFC playoff hunt. There are reasons for optimism. There are reasons for hope. There are so many good things to talk and write about as Miami prepares to head for playoff elimination games at frigid Buffalo and frosty Kansas City. Dolphins coach Adam Gase says the tape don't lie. So each week, he'll give the game tape a closer look. Here are some things I noticed. Adam Gase challenged his players to execute perhaps every formation in Miami's playbook. And they did it well. There was a time earlier this season when Gase felt the need to scale things back. After all, Miami was committing so many pre-snap penalties and running the wrong routes and failing to pick up blocks and barely getting the snaps off in time, and well, you get the idea. But it turns out that challenging his players to show the Patriots' defensive and incredibly wide array of formations was genius. The players responded. In the first quarter, Gase stacked 4 wide receivers to the left in a diamond formation, with Julius Thomas out only on one to the right. Gase did an awesome job in this game of creating favorable matchups for Miami. He also confused the Patriots by showing them things he hasn't shown. No doubt Miami has been holding some of these things back. On a 47-yard pass from Jay Cutl to Kenyon Drake, the running back was matched up out wide up with a linebacker. If you saw how quickly and how far past the linebacker Drake ran, it was embarrassing. This is one of the things Gase does best when he's got it rolling. Drake, as Lane Kiffin would tell you, can do some Reggie Bush-like things, both as a runner and as a virtual receiver. Gase used Kenyon Drake, Jarvis Landry, Jakeem Grant, Marquise Gray and Anthony Fasano at running back, and H-back. He used Landry and Grant together in the backfield. He even lined up Laramie Tunsil as a blocking receiver on one play on a 2-count pass to Landry. Jay Cutl faked a toss to Drake, who was lined up at receiver, then rolled to his right to hit Landry in the flat. Gase has some really good red zone offense ideas. Gase found a way to work Grant into the offense. He utilized misdirection, play action, pre-snap motions and designed bootlegs to perfection. Gase utilized every level of the field to create open opportunities for receivers. And he set up his play calls with smart sequences. Gase passed on 4th and 1, using a play-action bootleg pass to Devontae Parker. If anything, this game can lift the spirits of some who criticized Gase's play calling this year. And to be fair, Gase has criticized himself at times. That's Jarvis Landry at RB. Simple swing pass out to the left. Nice'n. Jay Cutl sort of rolled back the clock in that throwback Dolphins uni. It seems safe to him that Cutler's ribs aren't hurting anymore. This is what Cutl came back for. A real positive moment on a national stage, in what may be his final NFL season. Sure, Cutl will enjoy the $10 million he'll earn this season. But Cutl surely is aware of his legacy, and that defeat of New England is one that will be talked about and remembered 1,020 years from now. Cutl showed some emotion. It seemed like he really wanted this one, as so many of his teammates of course did, too. It must said that Cutl outplayed Tom Brady. It must said that Cutl showed outstanding mobility and accuracy for most of the night. Cutler's night could have been even better if Jakeem Grant and Devontae Parker and Julius Thomas had helped him out a few more times. The play that will be talked about for a long time came in the second quarter. On a 3rd down, with Miami down 76, Cutl somehow evaded a blitzing defensive back coming from Cutler's left. The Patriot was completely untouched, but at the perfect moment, Cutl spun away and flicked it to Kenyon Drake for a 1st down that set up a 2-count. It was a very Johnny Manziel-esque, Houdini-type escape. Cutl was cool under pressure. It turns out Gase was right about trusting Cutl more than Matt Moore, the quintessential professional backup. Cutl is 65 in his 11 starts, which frankly, isn't all that bad. Cutl was much better than not that bad on Monday, which was quite startling, actually. Somehow, Jay Cutl wasn't sacked here. Nope. Instead, it was a 3rd down completion. Kenyon Drake is sort of incomparable, which is the point. Actually, Adam Gase sort of deftly swatted aside my recent attempt to compare Drake and Matt Forte, noting Drake's superior speed. When Drake was preparing for the NFL draft, some comparisons included Charles Sims, Jeremy Langford or Ty Montgomery. Drake's ceiling is higher than all those players. Drake has unnatural explosiveness and raw speed. He can run inside or outside. He shows surprising power. He is a marathon-capable blocker, as he showed again on Monday, and if he can continue to protect the football, there is no reason he can't carry a load the way a Chris Johnson once did. Johnson wasn't built like the typical workhorse back, you may recall. Drake is unique, and that's why the Dolphins drafted him highly despite his specialized role at Alabama. And that's part of the reason why Gaze felt comfortable shipping Jay Cutl away. As powerful and inspiring as Cutl was, Drake instills more fear into defensive coordinators as they prepare to face him on Sunday. The Patriots defense did react in anticipation to Drake's moves. This is a positive sign. In the second quarter, Drake made a linebacker miss and made a safety miss en route to cutting on a dime for 26 yards. In the third quarter, Drake, perhaps benefited by having studied Cutl so closely, powered his way for 8 yards by plowing through 2 tacklers and then carrying a linebacker 3 more yards. That type of run inspires teammates. And of course, a few minutes later, a special 31-yard run. Drake should have been stopped for a 3-yard loss but did a 360-degree spin you're more likely see in Madden to evade the blitzing safety, then burst to the right, throwing a stiff arm at another safety in for good measure. Dynamic, explosive, encouraging. Why does Kenyon Drake have his back to the line of scrimmage with the ball in his hands? Easy. He's in the midst of a 360-degree spin, which worked out fine. Note the shunned safety. Matt Burke's utilization of press man coverage was successful. The Dolphins didn't play only man coverage on defense. And they weren't always in press. But when they did, more than often, it was successful. Miami had utilized so much off-man zone earlier in the season. And it just seems like Xavier Howard and Bobby McCain and Alteron Werner really responded to the challenge of getting in the Patriots' receivers' faces. We were locking them up, McCain said in the locker room after the win. Man-to-man, me against you, locked up. Burke had a really good game. He brought blitzers at the right times and in the right doses. He knew he needed to make Brady feel uncomfortable, and after the game, Miami defenders were saying they felt Brady was flustered. Howard was phenomenal for the second consecutive game, with 2 interceptions and a slew of passes defended. Bork and his staff were able to iron out Miami's communication and alignment errors from the first Patriots game, and for that, they deserve kudos. The Dolphins have physical corners, including injured Cordrea Tankersley, capable of matching up in occasional man coverage. It makes sense to mix it up, but it was a great call to lean on some tight man on Monday. See Xavier Howard down at the bottom of the screen. He can smell Brandon Cook's breath. Extra points. Devontae Parker may very well end up on another roster if he doesn't find himself before the end of this season. If a pass off of Parker's hands goes the other way for a pick six, it bounced off Kenny Stills and Mercy found the grass. Suddenly it's 2,724 and it's a completely different game. And Parker is a South Florida goat. Just catch the ball, please. Once again, Jesse Davis showed why he should be starting at right guard or right tackle for Miami next season. Why? Well, he generally moves people in the right direction. Alteron Werner is a very capable veteran corner, ideally suited as the number 3 or number 4 corner on a good roster. We still don't see Julius Thomas on Miami's roster next season. We personally would rather see Anthony Fasano come back for one more season and not retire. It was interesting to see Charles Harris rushing from a standing position. Something to try to get the rookie going. Harris had a few decent pressures. Lawrence Timmons bounced back after some recent struggles. He seemed quicker and more inspired. If Jordan Phillips can play as well as he has the last 2 games, somewhat consistently, the Dolphins can start to view him with a much longer lens. TJ McDonald could end up as a very good value sign. He drops players for loss. He hits hard. He plays fast. Did you realize Ndamukong Suh played every single defensive snap? What a monster. Jarvis Landry drew a 21-yard pass interference penalty on a deep route in the third quarter. Unfortunately, those 21 yards don't go toward his yards per catch average. Miami Dolphins Jordan Phillips Patriots David Andrews Dirty Player 5 Miami Dolphins snap conclusions from shocking defeat of Patriots. What are the current Miami Dolphins playoff odds? Adam Gase Dolphins outcoach Bill Belichick and Patriots Miami Dolphins Kenyon Drake in some good arrogance and totals 193 yards. Column Jarvis Landry believed the Patriots can be beaten, so the Dolphins believed. 2-5 instant takeaways Miami Dolphins 27, New England Patriots 20. Get stories in real time by liking the Daily Dolphin Facebook page.